Hello, folks. Another episode of Burning Platform. Good to have Hari back. He's a repeat guest. I've had him on my shows a few times. But this time we're going to talk about something that we would predicted would be dead by now, but continues to baffle people. It's the mainframe. Hari, great to have you back.
Always great to
Introduce
be
yourself.
here, Vinnie, and always enjoy these conversations with you. For the audience here, as Vinnie said, my name is Hari Candadai, and I'm with a company called Origina. I head the Service Innovation and Thought Leadership Program at Origina. Just in a nutshell, we're a third-party software maintenance company, a choice for IBM customers, and we'll dig a little more into the model and the company itself. But that's my role, and great to be here, and looking forward to it, Vinnie.
Two questions. I've had Thomas in this series.
Yeah.
Nice Irish lad. Tell the audience about Origina, a little bit more about Origina, and also talk about the Z series. How is that different? How is that affecting? That's new, right? That probably needs newer skills.
Yeah.
So how are you adjusting your offering for, a relatively new technology?
Yeah, just to give a quick overview, who Origina is, what we do. As I said, Origina is a third-party software maintenance company focused exclusively on IBM support, providing IBM support. For the last decade, Origina has perfected the third-party software maintenance model for IBM Passport Advantage customers. Think about MQ or Cognos or DB2 or Informix, FileNet, go down the list. So we have been supporting over 800 of the Passport Advantage products. The reason we're able to support that breadth of product offerings is we have 600 or so global IBM experts who are assigned to our clients. These are the people that I was talking about that Origina has as part of our support model, who are no longer with IBM, but in many cases have written the code in the first place, have written books on these products. So it's a very premium type of a support model where we assign a senior person with at least 15 years of experience to our clients. That's from a service perspective. Response levels are industry leading, nothing that, not even close. IBM does not even come close to it, because that is one of the reasons customers choose to stay with Origina. So it's not only the expertise, the people, but the model behind it, the responsiveness. So that's what comprises the third-party software maintenance market or model, and all of that at 50% of what customers typically pay IBM today. So it's an attractive model, not only from a premium concierge intimate level of service at half the cost, with the right skills for that particular product. So that's how the model works. We've been in business for over 10 years supporting all of the Passport Advantage products. And now with that foundation, Vinnie, we are now able to, and it was in June of this year that we expanded to the Z, to providing the service offering for Z software for mainframe customers. So we now have not only have we perfected the model, we do have IBM skills from a Passport Advantage side, because on top of the Z mainframe, all of the products that I mentioned could potentially be running in many cases. So you still need that expertise. And we now have a growing pool of mainframe skills as well, because as I said, these experts are out there, and Origina is systematically building up that skills, that resource pool. So being pulled into this expanded offering in part because of our customers and the pains that they are being felt, it just made a natural evolution, a natural expansion to provide this broad offering. Now we cover not only Passport Advantage, but if you have mainframes today, consider looking into third-party software maintenance from Origina. By the way, we are the only third-party software maintenance provider for IBM Support today. So look us up, but that's the history. That's the why we expanded to the Z offering.
I remember in 1990, I was at PwC, and we were already starting to talk about, oh God, IBM's dead. Everything's going to move to client server. right? The mainframe's dead. And here we are 30 years later. And then in some environments, certainly banks and so on, they've actually grown in importance. So tell me what you're seeing in the mainframe market.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that that conversation's been there for so long, a few decades now. Is the mainframe dead? But Vinny, in short, far from it, right? Here's my perspective. Having talked to many customers and following some of these large organizations, when it comes to talking about mainframe, many large organizations have what I call a public face and a private face to this, right? Publicly, of course, it's a great story for the investors, great story for the for Wall Street, and optically, it's great to say, "Oh, we're getting off of mainframe. It's sucking up our budget, and we don't have the car, we don't have the people, time, money to do that." Great story, but in private, they know that just is not possible. It's so hard. Can you imagine, Vinny? Let me give you an example. Can you imagine an airline using mainframe for their flight planning, for their crew planning, flight operations, reservations, you name it, air traffic control? Can you imagine the risk involved in moving off a mainframe for an airline like that, even if it's a short, short time to transition to an alternate technology, if there's one? Think about any of the world's top banks, right, using mainframe for large scale transaction processing. 96 of the top 100 banks in the world use it. Or take retailers, 23 of the top 25 retailers use mainframe for all their large scale transactions. Just not going to happen. It's too much risk, a lot of money. The question is, not if they're moving to moving off of mainframe. The question is, how do they continue to keep it in place and make sure it's they're running it at an optimal level, not only performance wise but also from a cost perspective. So mainframes are not going anywhere, in my opinion, or from what we hear from other IBM customers. In fact, if I look at the numbers and I recall going back from 2019, Vinny, let's talk about the Z series or the Z series of mainframe, right? 2019, they announced the Z15 series. And since then, IBM's revenue year over year on the mainframe business has been growing 62%. And this year in April, they announced the Z16 series of mainframe, and we'll see, guaranteed those numbers are going up. So no, mainframe's not going anywhere in our opinion. The question is, how can you be smart about it? How do you continue to extend the life and value of your mainframe?
You made a good point. Public face and a private face, right? Yeah. Tell me what they tell you in private. They can't be happy about their mainframe investment.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, where are they finding the staff? I mean, this must be like centurions running their mainframes. So tell me what you hear privately about some of the problems with mainframes.
Yeah. So yes, we have those conversations every day, right? Given the nature of the business that we are in, offering software maintenance for mainframe customers. So here are the big pains, Vinny, when it comes to mainframe to keep their mainframe operations going. The first thing that comes up is the high maintenance cost. It's such a stable, such a great piece of technology, just works. We rely on it. In fact, the term Z I learned was because it actually denotes zero downtime. That's how fantastic the technology is, and testimony to IBM technology there. So mainframes are great in terms of performance. So the question then is, what am I paying my maintenance cost for on an annual basis? It's a lot of money. To give you an example, banks, Vinny, spend over $200 billion a year on IT. And according to a recent Citigroup estimate, they say that nearly 80% of that is going towards maintaining mainframe dependent legacy systems. So there's a lot of maintenance cost associated with that mainframe environment. And that's a big pain for customers, especially if they want to work on their other digital innovation, other initiatives. This is tying up a lot of their budget. There are other studies out there, but typically a typical IT budget, right? 90% goes towards keeping the lights on, leaving only 10% towards innovation. So mainframe is a big contributor to that. So we hear high maintenance cost.
What kind of support did they get for that? I mean, I'm sure IBM is the
No,
same job.
that's another issue, right? It's when you pay this money, you expect two things. One, you expect innovation in the product when you're paying for your software maintenance. And the second thing you expect is good support. Every time something breaks, I pick up the phone, somebody's there to help me. That's not happening. And that's a big complaint. It's the mainframe support has deteriorated for different reasons. You talked about the lack of people, lack of skills. That's a huge problem. Mainframe specific skills. 93% of a recent Forrester survey, mainframe customers say that it's either moderately or extremely challenging to find the right mainframe skills. So not only customers are in a bind because they don't have the skills internally, Vinnie, but every time they call IBM, they're not getting the support. And you know why? Because IBM has laid many of these great skills off over the years. There are different articles. I don't want to go into all of that here, but the point is there are no. It's a declining pool of skills and resources, not only within IBM, but generally in the marketplace. But there are those people, the great, great experts of mainframe that Origina has partnered with, and that's how we are there because IBM has let them go over the years. They didn't see the need to keep them, which is baffling.
You've been able to build an ecosystem of those resources.
Exactly, and we were able to do that because they continue to work on a product they love. IBM didn't want them anymore, but we have gone and sourced those. So that we keep hearing the skill shortage is a big problem for IBM customers. And the last one is that keeps coming up is interdependency and interoperability issues. There was another survey that says that 90% say it's so difficult to change mainframe applications, and how do I make sure that my mainframe application is going to support my innovation initiatives? What about those edge applications? Who's going to help me integrate and help interoperate, make sure it's all interoperable? So those are the issues we hear. Cost is a big one. Poor IBM support, lack of skills, and help me with interoperability. So my mainframe is becoming the foundation in a way for my digital innovation. So those are the big issues we hear.
So how do you describe one of your customers? How they're using you, how long they've been working with you, and so on.
Yeah, sure, Vinnie. Let me share a quick story about Southern California Edison. Southern California Edison is a 130-year-old power company. They're servicing Southern California, Central California, one of the largest electrical utilities in the United States, a customer of Origina. So initially, they approached Origina a few years ago, I believe it was in 2019, for supporting their MQ product originally. So of course, when it comes to third-party software maintenance, they hadn't heard the concept. They were initially, I call a healthy skeptic, and they wanted to look at it more. They wanted to do a proof of concept, and when they saw that we could solve in 4 hours one of their MQ tickets that was still unresolved for 6 months with IBM, that gave them the confidence. So not only did they choose third-party software maintenance for MQ, but over time they added their Rational products, their WebSphere set of products, their ID management set of products. So fast forward 18 months, California was faced back then with some serious wildfires. Southern California Edison, the IT team was under tremendous pressure. They not only had to remediate the situation, but they had to strengthen their networks. They had to protect their consumers from the wildfires, et cetera, which was very expensive. And at the same time, they were rolling out a new customer-facing system, and that was consuming a lot of their people, their time, their money as well. And in the midst of all of this, when they looked at the their budget and what was taking up a big part, consuming a big part of that budget, was this mainframe support line item. And that's when and they were planning a replacement technology anyway. So this is one of an example of an industry, smaller size, and they believe that they didn't have to pay all that maintenance dollars to IBM because they were planning on a replacement technology. Chris Lecosia, who's their head of procurement back then, shared a great story recently at an event with me, and he was saying that his goal was to make sure that they could keep their software, they could keep their Z mainframe system running smoothly, securely, at the lowest possible cost while they're moving off of mainframe and investing in their new customer facing system, dealing with the wildfire situation, etc. So naturally, that's when Origina came up again, and they said, hey, can you consider supporting mainframe as well? Because we love the support that you provided so far on the other products, and how about expanding to mainframe? So that's how the relationship expanded and grew, and he got the executive support because Original had already proved itself in the other areas, and now we are supporting their mainframe applications as well. And what did that finally do for them? It did free up not only the money, but the resources, the people, the time that he needed in order to focus on not only the customer facing initiative, the CRM initiative, but other digital initiatives as well, because in part, they didn't have the headache of paying all that money at half the cost. Origina was providing them great service for mainframe. If and when something happened, we were always there. And that partnership comes to mind, and I wanted to share that story quickly, Vinnie.
Clearly we were premature in 1990 saying mainframes are dead. Are we premature to say that even today? When put on your analyst hat, how many more years do you think they'll survive?
Oh gosh, I think they're here. If
All the
IBM plays,
quantum computing and all, is that the next evolution?
now there will be, of course, I'm not suggesting that everybody on mainframe will continue to be on mainframe, and that I don't think will happen. I think it will depend on the industry, and it will depend on another product that can come close to doing this large scale transaction processing, right, at the speed at which a mainframe can do, and at the level of reliability and uptime that the mainframe can do. Now, if you're not in one of those high touch or those large transaction industries, if you're not in retail or financial services or airlines, banking, any of those big ones, there are cases where we have seen customers are moving off of to a mainframe to another reliable or another alternative technology. And for those reasons I mentioned, why am I paying a lot of money, and what support am I getting, and I don't have the skills, so why can't I move to this alternate solution? Even in that scenario, Vinnie, third-party software maintenance makes a lot of sense, because it's not as if you can switch off and switch on, right? There will always be a transition period. And if you are planning to move off of mainframe, if you're planning to sunset that application, third-party software maintenance can be a safe haven, a great place where you can continue to keep the mainframe systems running for as long as you choose while you're transitioning. And not only that, you can perhaps fund the new move with the savings by moving to third-party software with Origina. So some of these customers will move off of mainframe. To go back to your original question, I still think for the foreseeable future, because I believe that's where IBM is focused on, or else we won't be seeing this increased revenue growth. I think it's a great thing for the industry. If there's no need, why change? And if they continue to keep the mainframes advanced and reliable as they are, I think they're here to stay for a long time.
I learn something new every day. You can teach an old dog here new tricks. So fantastic overview on the state of mainframes, and always a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Vinnie. And if I may just, have the audience check out origina.com. lot of resources. My name is Hari Candadai. You can find me on at Origina. You can send me an email, Vinnie, if along with the podcast, if you need my contact information, happy to share that. But I appreciate the time and the opportunity to share who we are and what we do and how we can help IBM customers, especially now with the mainframe offering.
Harry, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
All right, thank you, Vinnie.